Hey, what's up guys, kolst here, bringing this video. We're going to be talking about the arena rotation, some of the old cards coming back. So, as mentioned in the 19.4 patch notes I have pulled up right here, there are a few of the old sets. Old Gods is leaving and a few of the old sets are coming back. Boomsday Project, Journey to Un'Goro, and One Night in Karazhan. So I wanted to just go through quickly just kind of the trends of these old sets. I have all these pulled up. So I'm thinking I'm going to go through the neutral cards first and just kind of show the kind of synergies. There's some synergies like mech synergy, elemental synergy, beast synergies based off these old sets. And just kind of know some trends and mainly try to inform you guys on really the things you need to be watching out for on day one. Because there's a lot of interesting effects that did not exist before, or haven't existed for a while, that are all of a sudden going to be cards you definitely want to be thinking about and paying attention to. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So Boomsday Project, I'm not going to go over every single card, but one of the main themes of this set through the neutral cards was the mechs synergies, right? Magnetic is coming back. So things you need to be worrying about. A really significant meta defining card was, let me see, it should be over here. Where is it? War Gear. This was a card. This basically is a 5/5 buff to any mech. So it was a thing you had to think about back in the day, was you always were worried about leaving any mech up because this could always happen. And if someone War Geared you in the face, you would generally, your life would generally reach to 0 rather quickly. So, you know, it's a thing to worry about. Other than that, there is Giggling Inventor. This is a card that comes back, which basically serves as like a neutral Blizzard a lot of the time. That's another card to think about. But otherwise, other than just the general effect, not too much that jumps out at me here in the neutral set. So I'm going to move on to Journey to Un'Goro. One of the most significant things, there's a lot of beasts and elementals here. So for classes like Mage, for example, with elemental synergy, we'll get more into some of the elemental synergy they're getting back, but there's going to be a lot of that. In classes like Druid and Hunter that can deal with beasts, there's that as well. But one of the most significant things as well is that there's all of a sudden going to be a lot more poison back. This was one of the most significant things of Un'Goro, was Stubborn Gastropod, Giant Wasp, and where is he? Where's the other one? Am I missing the other one? There's the 1/1 poison. Is that not in this set? Maybe that's not in this set. Now I look like a fool. I don't see it. Anyway. So yeah, anyway, between Gastropod and Giant Wasp, you're going to have to worry about a lot of poison here. And even the adapt mechanic is coming back. If you're not aware of what adapt is, basically adapt gives you a bunch of bonuses. If you played Battlegrounds while the Murloc adapt was still in, you probably are aware of it, but you can get a bunch of things that give effects. Another pretty meta-defining card at the time was Tar Creeper. Tar Creeper is probably still going to be good, but probably not going to be quite the beast it used to be. Well, speaking of Gentle Megasaur, there's Gentle Megasaur. But yeah, other than that, not too much. There were some of these cards that used to be meta-defining, like Kalmos used to be like the ultimate value generation, because it used to be able to discover itself, and now it can't. So I don't know, a lot of this stuff probably won't be quite as significant as it was. Blaze Color was a pretty nasty elemental discovery. One of the most meta-defining cards, actually, now that I see it, is Primordial Drake, the ultimate screw you aggro card. So this card will definitely still be good and will be a thing you see. It's an epic, so you won't see it too much, but yeah, something you're gonna want to be thinking about if you're trying to be aggressive in these turns. And then One Night in Karazhan. This was a smaller set, I believe, so there's not too much here. Yeah, there's nothing like crazy good things, nothing that like stands out. Malkazar's back, that's a fun card. But yeah, nothing that I think in Arena is going to be crazy here in the neutral set, so okay. Now we're going to move to the class sets. So Druid, going to go class by class. Druid here, Druid here. So in Boomsday Project, one thing, since one of the most broken new cards that's being added to the game is, let me see, I think I still have this open. One of the strongest cards is Arbor Up right here, which is Treant energy card, by the way. One of the things in Boomsday products specifically for Druid is that there are a lot of Druid cards. We have Dendrologist here, we have Landscaping here, Summons Druids, Discover based off. Add Treants to your hand, Discover spell based off of Treants. Mulch Muncher, which is basically like a mini Dig Day, but it gets cheaper based off Treants. There's a lot of Treants energy here. And Gloop Sprayer, this is another card that you would get completely wrecked by sometimes, so it's gonna be a card you have to worry about. Right, and otherwise, in Ungoro there actually is Living Mana, which also summons a bunch of Treants. But an interesting card, but otherwise not much that jumps out here. And in Karazhan, these aren't like the most meta defining. Menagerie Warden's a thing to be aware of existing, so if you leave up a giant beast, you might get punished, but otherwise, usually not a card you would see that often. It's a little slow. Okay, so let's move on to Hunter. Hunter has a lot of mech synergy in the Boomsday Project set. So again, same thing I mentioned with Magnetic. Venomizer is a nasty Magnetic that turns any mech into poison, potentially. Spider Bomb, also a pretty strong magnetic effect. So that's mainly what you'd be thinking about from this set. From Ungoro, it's completely separate because none of these synergies should cross over because this is entirely a set based off of Beast synergy. You have a meme card here, Dynamancy. You should never pick, probably. Grievous Bite. Oh, that's interesting. Grievous Bite is going to be in the game at the same time as... Oh, it's wrong page. Grievous Bite is actually in the game at the same time as Bola Shot. So these... I mentioned this card in my full review. That it's funny that these two cards are actually going to be in together. That's actually kind of hilarious. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But, yeah. This is a fun card too. But not too much to worry about there. Karazhan, Hunter had a really good Karazhan set. These are all three really good cards, so something, but not really cards you need to be worried about too much. So next we will move on to Mage. Mage is getting a lot of elemental synergy, I believe, in both of these sets. Yeah, both of these sets, Mage is actually getting a whole bunch of elemental synergy. So Mage is going to be absolutely crazy with these elementals. They're doing Shooting Star, which is good removal. But yeah, Elemental. These aren't great cards, at least in this set, typically. But, you know, this wasn't the best set for Mage. But Ungoro was a great set for Mage. They got Pyros, which a lot of people consider... I never liked it as much as a lot of people, and I feel like it wouldn't be as great as it used to be either. But yeah, it's one of the best... Back in the day, this was like the ultimate value card. Right, 18/18 in one card. But yeah, really good elemental card here. Meteor coming back, by the way. It's the card you need to be thinking about. And more elementals. So many elementals promo growth, man. This was such a good set for Mage. It's actually insane. And then they're also getting Babbling Book, Valet, and Firewind's Portal. This was another really, really good set for Mage. So Mage is going to be, unless they get microdusted into the dirt, Mage is going to be terrifying. The takeaway there is be terrified of mages. So let's move on to Paladin. Oh, Defense Matrix. This was one of the better Paladin secrets ever printed. A lot of magnetic synergy here. Shrink Ray is a card to be aware of the existence of as well. They're going to have this and Librum of Justice together. That's kind of crazy. The Paladin is just not going to care about your boards. They're just going to remove everything. Good to know. In this set, this was a pretty good set for Ungoro. Oh yeah, Sunkeeper Terran, one of the best cards, if not the best card ever printed in Arena. It's coming back. Definitely a card to be aware of. Vine Cleaver, one of the better weapons. It's probably not as good as it used to be because it feels like it would be a little slow now, but it's still definitely a premium card. And one of my old favorites, Dino Size. I like Dino Size, man. Turns any minion into a 10/10. And Spiker's Steed. Yeah, this was one of the this wasn't one of the best sets any class has ever gotten, just between these cards. Yeah, Paladin's getting a lot of really good stuff. And Karazhan, not the greatest set actually for Paladin. This card's okay, but yeah, nothing really to be worried about there. Let's move on to Priest. topsy-turvy. I think this was when they had decided that Priest couldn't get any good cards in Arena, because there's really nothing here. Omega Medic is a great card in some situations, but generally speaking, stuff that isn't great in Arena here. Looking at Ungoro, yeah, they got a couple elementals here. Lyra is a card, although we have 2 mana Lyra, so this card isn't that significant. Free from Amber is interesting. This is going to be a way you can discover the 9-drop Ragnaros that's being added, so that'll be one way that you'll see that card actually, even though that card has been banned from Arena. But yeah, some pretty good cards here, but I mean, stuff like Tortola and Shellraiser, like this was pretty good back then, but probably wouldn't be good anymore. And in Karazhan, Bishop is a card you could get wrecked by sometimes, but yeah, Priest of the Feast was always a good card, but yeah, not much to worry about here. We don't talk about Purify. Alright, next we have Rogue. Rogue had some interesting synergies in this set. You had like the Necrian Blade Crawler combo. This summons a 1/1 Ooze with Poisonous and Rush, and then you could just play Necrian Blade on 3 and then this on 4, and you could get free wins back in the day like that. But yeah, otherwise, so a lot of Death Rattle synergy here, but otherwise, and Crazed Chemist is a pretty significant card too, but too much to jump out at. In Ungoro, there's a few things that jump out a bit more. Hallucination's a good card. But Vile Spine Slayer and Envenom Weapon are both in this set. Both of these. This is essentially 2 assassinates in 1, but it costs you your weapon in your face. And Vile Spine Slayer, of course, one of the classic, insanely good, first really broken Arena cards. So Rogue is going to be able to hard remove basically everything you ever play. I think that's the takeaway there. This was a good set for Rogue too. This is Karazhan, Swashbuckler, Deadly Fork. Deadly Fork's a little slow, especially now, I think, but these are both really good cards. Shaman, this card was never that good. Anything that really jumps out here? There's a lot of elementals here, so there's some elemental synergy, which we will get to in Ungoro, I believe. Stormbringer. Oh, this is a card that was... There were some synergies with this. You could go like Thunderhead, Stormbringer. Brings back all the memories, but yeah, a lot of elemental stuff here. Actually, you would go Voltaic Burst, Stormbringer a lot. The good old days. So this set also a whole ton of elementals, and there's some elemental payoff synergies in Ungoro. Stone Sentinel is a card you didn't see very much, but it basically gave you a Feral Spirit if you could pull it off. Otherwise, it was unplayable. 7 mana 4/4. The Calamos, the legendary. The Invocations would be extremely powerful effects. Well, kind of the first kind of that thing they had ever printed. So there is some stuff to be concerned about there. The other card to be worried about is Volcano. It's not that Shamans can't already board clear anything, but with Volcano, they will literally be able to board clear anything you can do. So I'm going to keep in mind. Also, the existence of this card. I don't know if it's in the same set, but I know this card's coming back. Bittertide Hydra, yeah. Bittertide Hydra is in the same set as Volcano, which is really kind of brutal. So 5 mana, take 24 damage to your own face. Seems totally reasonable. But yeah, let's see, anything here? Maelstrom Portal. Wow, so Shaman's gonna have Maelstrom Portal back. In addition to, where's it's down here. They're gonna have Maelstrom Portal and Landslide. And Shaman is just going to be nuts with their removal in this set. That's actually kind of crazy. No, this card wasn't that good. Let's see, Warlock. Now, not too much that's too crazy. I'm not sure if there's any hand buffs available for this card right now. There is the Demon hand buff, the copy card. Mega Agent was a card to be aware of, but I mean, it's like an Eye of the Storm. It's like a 5 mana Eye of the Storm that doesn't have taunt. It was pretty crazy back in the day, but not even that crazy by modern standards. Ungoro. Warlock honestly had a pretty fair Ungoro set. There's really nothing much to think about here. Pterodax could be a 7/7 sometimes. It was nice, but yeah. Relatively fair set. And here too, Warlock gets Malchezaar's in, so you might see people try to go discard a little bit harder. Otherwise, not that much to worry about here. Next, we'll move on to the last class, which is Warrior. Looking at Boomsday, one of the most significant cards. There's a lot of really powerful synergies here. Hero cards are not going to be in the game. You don't have to worry about Dr. Boom. But Omega Assembly, really good value card for Warrior. It's a 1-mana draw 3, once on turn 10. Dynamatic, really good. Basically, this was Shavara before Shavara existed. And the most significant of all, Super Collider, which basically means you don't get to develop a board ever. And back in the day, you would basically lose the game instantly. And then Ungoro, not too much to worry about. King Mosh is a card that you should probably be aware of. Otherwise, they got just a bunch of taunts in this set. This was when Blizzard was trying to force taunt warriors, so. And even more healing and taunt here. But I guess the most significant card here is Fool's Bane, which is another card that just, if you don't care about having any life total at all, you can basically just full clear board on turn 5. So that's basically it. So actually, I already talked about the neutral cards, so I guess that is it. So thanks a lot for hanging out. Again, everyone, if you made this far, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment on what you think. I'm sure I missed things because I just went really briefly, but I was trying to keep this video short, so just feel free to comment on anything you guys are worried about or excited for, or things you want to see come back in future sets, or really anything you want, because again, comments are good on YouTube. So thanks a lot again. We'll see you guys next time.